All right, well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. If we haven't met, my name is Hillary. I'm one of the partner success managers here at Burnalong, but today we have Jessica joining us. So Jessica is the Director of Product and Development at Fit for Mom. She is also a fitness business consultant and has internationally presented and consulted for many brands. Her passion is helping fitness professionals and businesses reach their full potential through education, program, and instructor development and brand creation and awareness. So she is here to help us upgrade our side hustle. So Jessica, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, and I will pass it along to you.
Thank you so much. And it's always so interesting to hear your bio read back to you, right? And you're like, that's interesting that I do all those things, but we're going to talk about upgrading your side hustle. And let's just dive in and get going with our content. Sound good, everybody? Okay, I bet right now that you are on this call because you wear a ton of different hats. We've all heard that saying before, right? That you wear so many different hats, you do this, you do that. But here's the problem with that metaphor, if you will. The hat that you wear on the base is also always being covered by the one you put on top of it. And if it's being covered up, then you almost forget about it, or your customers don't necessarily see all of the things that make up you because you're covering it with bigger hats as you stack up. So instead of thinking about wearing a lot of different hats, I want you to look at it in a little different way. So as you already have been introduced to me, hi everyone, I am Jess Maurer. I am an international master trainer for a number of different equipment-based and fitness companies. I am the Director of Education and Product Development at Fit for Mom. I am also lucky to be a beta tester for fitness brands across the world. I am an international presenter, and I help businesses go from overwhelmed to organized. And I'm going to challenge you to get rid of your ideas of making hats your metaphor. And instead, I want you to look at it like puzzle pieces. Here are all of the puzzle pieces that come together to make the picture of you. And why we look at it in terms of puzzle pieces instead of hats is because you don't stack puzzle pieces on top of each other. Instead, you get to see the whole board offered as one. And this allows for people to see everything that you offer, everything that makes you who you are, all of your side hustles put together in one place. So how are we going to take this idea of your puzzle pieces being put out and forth and really make sure that we're elevating your business, your side hustle, to a level of longevity and career? And I've got 3 tips for you today that we're going to go through. Sound good, everyone? Okay, great. Let's dive in with number 1. First, you've got to realize that your side hustle, whatever it is a business. You are a business. It's not a side hustle. It's a legitimate career path for you. And sometimes we just diminish what we're doing and the efforts we're putting into our passion projects or our side hustles because we think of them more as hobbies. They're not a hobby. They are a business. Yes, that means you, my friends, you are your business, whether that is personality-wise or it's a business that you are running from a brand perspective, meaning that you've built a bigger business around you where other people are involved, versus a personality business, which is really just firmly based on you and your presence. But you, my friends, you are a business. In order to legitimize your business, though, there's one word that you have to stop using, and that's the word just. No longer are you just a personal trainer. How many of you guys, let me see, show of hands, have said, oh, I just teach group fitness? Especially when you first start out in your career, right? When you first start starting into your side hustle, we tend to say that a lot. Oh, I just teach cycling. Oh, I'm just a personal trainer. We use just a lot. And what happens when you use the word just is it diminishes all of the effort and the intention and the energy that you're putting into something. So toss out the word just. No longer are you just. You are a firm and steady business. And you know what successful businesses have? Does everybody remember learning about these in elementary school English class? A business has all of your W's and your H's. You have to know who you're serving, why you're serving, when you're going to be serving these options, where you're going to be serving the options, how you're going to be offering these things. All of these components are what build a business. They're very important for you to sit down and figure out. But Here's the problem with all of that. It doesn't actually lead to defining success. So I challenge you, instead of starting with the who and the what and the when, where, and how, instead decide on what success looks like for you. What are you building? Why are you building it? And in how fast do you want to build? Just like we say with our clients, hey, don't look at the huge, giant, hairy picture goal that's 5 years down the road. I want you to go step by small step in order to get that big, hairy goal, right? So we say, okay, what does success look like for you in 5 years? Now let's break it down. How are you going to get there in small incremental steps all the way down to what next quarter looks like? So you have to figure out what is success for you. Is success in 5 years that you're retired, or is success in 5 years that you've been able to franchise out your business? What is that definition for you? And sometimes coming up with your success path of starting with your big hairy goal and then breaking it down yearly, down into quarters, so you know exactly what to do in order to get you to your big hairy scary goal. Sometimes that can be more daunting than figuring out the who's and the what's and the how's of how you're going to run your business. How many of you guys, in a show of hands, or you can take it into chat, tell me you know what your big hairy scary goal is? Some of us are like, I kind of know maybe what it kind of looks like, right? Yeah, I agree. It's kind of fuzzy. Spend some time dreaming. Take some time and really figure out, okay, what am I really doing with this business that I'm currently involved in? What does it look like in order to build my dream life? Now, for many of us, if we're just starting out, getting to that point of success may take you some time. I want you to think about it like a train. Anybody ever seen a train leave the station? It's very slow in the beginning, isn't it? When you first get that train going, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of smoke, all in that beginning, right? But once your train gets going and it hits the plains of Kansas, what happens? It starts to fly, right? So your career is the same way. When you're starting your business, it is slow, it's grinding, there's smoke everywhere. You're having to constantly fuel the fire with more coal. But once you get your momentum going, you're going to go much faster to that success path. So know, if you're looking at that big, hairy, scary goal that's in 5 years, these first few months, these first few quarters, this first year or two, it's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to eventually build that potential energy up to where you're coasting through the plains and getting there faster. This also goes for if you are a baby business, if you're just starting off. It's going to be a little bit harder for you to get up and going versus if you've already been in your business for 3 to 5 years, you're already moving at a faster pace than the person who started. What does that mean? Well, we live in this world of constant judgment thanks to social media, where you may be looking at so-and-so and so-and-so and so, and there you see that the life that they're living or the career that they have is what you want to achieve. But you have to always remember that their train is at a different point of their location, right? Or a different point of their journey. They are already on the plains of Kansas and you're just getting up started. So don't let comparison be the thief of your own joy. Keep your train in mind of, my train is just now leaving the station. They're already in Kansas. I'm going to take my time to build up to know where I need to go in order to feel and find the success that I've defined for myself. Because I, as Jessica Maurer, I can't tell you what success looks like for you. Success might look like for you that in 5 years, you're sitting on the beach and you're just clicking your phone every once in a while to make sure that your clients are doing what they're supposed to do. But that's not my idea of success. My idea of success is right now I want to be present and always around my kiddo wherever he happens to be and wherever I happen to take him. So my idea of success looks a lot different than what yours does. Perfectly fine. We have to make sure that we define our own success, because the next tip I'm going to give you, tip number 2, is that you have to figure out how to track your goals. They're going to help you get to that big, hairy, scary success state in the future. You have to know where you're going in order to create a path. How many of you ever go out into the woods and say, you know what? I'm not going to go on a trail today. I'm just going to mosey around the trees. Most of the time you get lost. That's why it's not recommended. And there's signs everywhere that says, stay on the trail. So you have to know what trail you're going to know where you're going to come up with it. Now, that's not to say your trail is going to be smooth sailing and straight the whole time, because it's not, right? Let's be honest with ourselves. Running a business is a lot like a labyrinth where you take a right turn and you hit a wall and you got to backtrack and go the other direction. No, that's normal. What typically happens with entrepreneurs who are starting to upgrade their side hustle into their career is that they hit that first wall and they think, no one else has done this. I'm the only person to have hit this wall. Everyone else has gone the right direction. And you're wrong. We've all made mistakes. We've all hit that spot where we've gotten lost in our own labyrinth. As long as you just get back on your feet, turn around and go back to where you were, focus on what your success is, then you'll find your way. Remember what I said though in the beginning. We don't want to just focus on that big, huge, scary goal of success. We want to take it one step at a time, just like we teach our clients about behavioral change or lifestyle change, fitness gains, wellness. We all teach them that it's one step at a time, right? Building your business is the same way, one step at a time. What gets measured is easily managed, okay? If you're not measuring something, you're not managing it. It's free floating out there in the world. So if one of your goals that you know you need to accomplish in order to have success is that when you break it down and you know that in 5 years, you want to have your own personal training facility with 100 clients, and you know you need 5 personal trainers working underneath you, and you've broken that down to see what it results into at a smaller point of view, then you know next quarter you need to have 3 new personal training clients. Well, how are you tracking your leads? Are you tracking your leads? Are you tracking your views on social media? Are you tracking your email opens? What are you doing in order to ensure that in this next quarter, you're going to get these new leads that are going to help you get to your big success goal? How are you tracking it? Because you should be. How many of you guys are actually tracking what's known as your KPIs? Your known performance indicators. Again, kind of, right? Like maybe I look at some things sometimes, but to have true success, you need to understand what is bringing you that success. How are you measuring the metrics that are working for you so that you can say, oh, you know what? Facebook is not working for me. Why am I wasting my time there? I should be focusing all of my attention on email. Or email's not working for me. Maybe I need to revamp my email strategy. You don't know what's working, what's not working until you measure it. So measure it. When you're measuring though, keep in mind that we're not just looking at like the beautiful end game picture. Instead, it's going to be one step at a time. It's not about overnight success. If you're upgrading your side hustle, it's about a slow and steady process of growth. So in other words, you can't say, you know what, I'm going to start tracking my email opens. And you start tracking it, it's at 8%. You're like, I'm going to tweak a few things. And you send out the next email after you've tweaked it and it's still at 8% open rate. You can't be like, well, I give up. Email's not working. Because it's slow and steady growth, right? It's not about an overnight change when you're taking your side hustle into your business. So let it be that slow and steady, giving yourself time, grace, and space to allow the things that you're tweaking, measuring, learning from, really fine-tuning them to get them where you need to be. All right, ready for tip number 3, everybody? Okay, tip number 1, just to review, you are a business. No more is it a side hustle, it's a business. You're going to track your goals. And then your number 3 is that you're going to use systems. But before you get all freaked out about me telling you got to pay attention a bunch of technology fees, let me clarify what a system is, okay? If you leave this workshop knowing nothing else, I want you to know this statement. Consumers and customers purchase based on trust, credibility, and loyalty. Customers purchase based on trust, credibility, and loyalty. Trust is the first one. Great example. Typically, you trust your family. more than you do a billboard, right? Some of you may have crazy family. That's all right. Some of you are like, I saw your look on your face. You're like, actually, that's not a true statement. But for the most part, you probably trust your family more than you do a billboard. So if your sister came to you and said, I just found the best masseuse in town, you'd be like, sign me up, right? Because you have so much trust in her. You don't have trust in the person that is performing the massage. You have trust in your sister. But if you drove by a billboard that said best masseuse in town, you'd be like, yeah, right. I don't believe that because I don't have trust in that billboard, right? Credibility and loyalty also plays into customer purchase. Now, keep in mind, purchasing is relative. I can give you a little bit of compensation, like my correct email address. How many of you guys have the real email address and the fake email address you give out to everybody else? Everyone's, yep. You know, that hole that lives over there that you never actually log into. Well, if I have a little bit of trust in you, a little bit, I'm going to give you my real email address so that you can actually reach out and contact me. That's a little bit of compensation. If I am going to leave my house in spandex to go work out with strangers that I've never met before and do something that makes me feel really uncomfortable, that's a lot of trust, right? And here's something that we've known thanks to the changing of our lifestyle through the pandemic. People are more willing to pay money to get out of doing something than to actually go do something, which means that compensation has been changed. It used to be that compensation money was king. Now, time, effort, and energy is the king of compensation. You want me to show up? You want me to give you my energy? You want to get my attention? That is a higher value ask than just money. So it's kind of changed a little bit from where it used to be. All right, so what does this have to do with systems? Hold on, here we go. Ready? Let's talk about trust. What is trust? It is a firm belief in the reliability. Sure, there are other parts of this definition, but that is the one I want you to hold on to. It is a firm belief in the reliability. In reliability, and that part of trust comes down to consistency. Let me ask you another question. If you found the best carrot cake cupcakes in the world at this new bakery that just opened up, and you like took a picture with it and put it out onto social media, and you called everybody and told them about this cupcake, and it was like on the tip of your lips for the rest of the week. And then you went back a week later and got the same carrot cake cupcake, but they had changed the recipe and it tasted horrible. Would you ever go back to that bakery? No, you never would. It's the same with a restaurant. You go to a restaurant, they serve this best thing ever, and then you go back and you try it again and it tastes like crap. You're never going back to that restaurant. Why? Because your trust was broken, right? The consistency factor broke your trust. It is the same with fitness. So if you taught this amazing cycle class where the lights were out, and you got the strobe lights going, you got the music pumping, and everybody's on fire, they feel great. And I'm the first time coming in taking your class, and I just feel absolutely amazing because of the energy. And I come back to take your class a week later, and you have all the lights on, and we're cycling to Yanni. Do you think I'm ever coming back? No, because you've broken my trust with your consistency. Now, I've been a group fitness professional for over 20 years, and I understand that we as group fitness professionals, we get bored really fast, don't you? It's okay, you can admit it. You get bored really fast. It's the reason why you think that I have to change my class every time I teach, or I have to change my music every time I teach, or I'm a personal trainer and I'm working with a client and I need to give them a new workout every time they come. But by doing that, we're breaking the consistency factor. We're lessening the amount of trust they have in us. We're not producing the same cupcake every time they come. Now you can tweak it, right? You can tweak it little by little, but you can't do a big turnover. If you're a life coach, you've already practiced this because you know you have to show up with the same intentions and feel each time. And if you don't, well, that consistency is not there anymore. That trust factor is not there anymore. What does that have to do with a system? Well, a system is a proven process or a confirmed habit. A system is not software. And that's where a lot of us as entrepreneurs start to get lost in the weeds. We start thinking about, oh, I got to put a system in place. We start thinking, I got to pay for something. I got to buy this CRM. I've got to buy this marketing platform. That's not a system. A system is a habit. It's something you do. And we know that the best way to have a habit is the domino habit, right? If this, then that. If I do this, I then do this. That is the best way to build a habit for your business. So if somebody reaches out to me on social media and says they're interested in personal training, I always respond with this message. Does that make sense? If somebody comes to their first class with me, I always do this procedure to check them in. If this, then that. If you want to create growth, standardize your if this, then that habits, your domino effect. How are you getting people into your business? Because remember, it's not a side hustle, it's a business now. So how are you getting people in so that you can nurture them so that they start to build trust in your consistency and your credibility? Let's look at it from one more business perspective. Everybody knows what this is, right? I doubt there's anyone now on the planet that doesn't understand this symbol. But a lot of brands have this. You see the green and mermaid, you know it's Starbucks. Why? They show up the same way every time you see them. It's that consistency factor, right? So let's say, for example, let's look at what you look like on social media. Social media is one of those things that makes all of us entrepreneurs like cringe, right? You feel overwhelmed by it. It's so overwhelming. But if you show up on social media being scattered and chaotic, then that's what people are going to expect you to be in person. If you show up on social media and you're fun and you're funny and you're loud and you're energetic, but they come to your class and you're very zen and you're very chill, you've just broken the consistency factor again, right? They don't know who do I trust? Do I trust who you are online or who you are in person? Who do I trust? The purpose of social media, though, is to grab onto consumers and pull them to your website. Why? Because at any moment, Mark Zuckerberg could wake up and decide he's turning the whole thing off and all social media goes away, because you know none of you are on X right now. So if he just wakes up and says, we're done, then it goes off. What you need to do is have a consistent persona on social media that entices people to come to your website. Once they've come over to your website, you can then start to collect their real email address, right? The real one, not the one you give to Bath and Body Works, the real email address that you can start to build trust with someone. Now, how many of you guys want to sign up for a newsletter? I don't. The only newsletter I want is from my son's 5th grade teacher. I apologize. I don't want your newsletter. You know what I want? I don't want junk mail, but I want something that surprises and delights me. I want something that is going to answer my need. And if you've got the answer to what I'm looking for, I want you to tell me about it. That's how I'm going to give you my email address. But when you show up on social media, when you show up on your website, when you show up in email, all of those places have to be authentically you if you want to upgrade your side hustle. You got to decide, who are you? Do you remember at the beginning of this presentation, I put up the slide with the who, what, when, where, and how? This is why it's so important, because every place you show up, you got to give them the same cupcake. They got to have that trust factor in you, that you're going to always talk with your hands, or you're always going to wear big hoop earrings when you teach, whatever it is. That thing that makes you you, all of those things that put your puzzle pieces together, that's what they need to see in all places. Social, web, email, and in the real world when they actually come to see you. All right, guys. So just as a quick review for upgrading your side hustle, one, you got to realize it is a business. Stop treating it like a hobby. Get rid of the word just. It's a business. And for it to be successful, you have to decide what success looks like for that business. So take some time to brainstorm, to journal, to dream, go on a walk later today, and just imagine, what does success look like for your business? And then how do you break it down so that you can make sure you're taking baby steps? Make sure that you track your goals. Remember, if you can measure it, you can manage it. If you're not measuring it, there's no way for you to know what's working and what's not working. and then figure out your systems, your if this, then this, so that your systems can help you build consistency, so that you show up in all places, giving them all the same cupcake, so that they can build trust in your credibility and become loyal to your business. I hope that you guys walked away with 1 or 2 nuggets in this short little workshop. If you have any other questions on how to grow your business or how to take something from being overwhelming into a more organized state, I would love to help you out. You're more than welcome to reach out to me, and please check out more of my videos on my Burn Along channel. You can find me, Jessica Maurer, on Burn Along as well, and you can check out all of my other workshops that are designed with a similar effect of taking you from feeling overwhelmed to being much more organized. Now, I should have given you a disclaimer at the beginning of this to let you know that I don't look at the chat, because if I look at the chat, we would be here for 3 more hours. I would have been off talking about squirrels and my favorite movies, and Lord knows what else I would have fallen into. So I open up the chat now here at the end. I would love to hear from you. I know that we are at that borderline of what we promised time-wise, but if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, requests, anything that you want to talk about, feel free to drop it into chat. Or Hillary, are they okay with coming off of mute too?
Absolutely.
Great. So feel free to come off of mute as well. And if you're watching the recording, you can always shoot me an email, and I'd love to answer your questions. Oh, awesome. I love it when it's quiet, because that means either I overwhelmed you with a lot of information all at once and you're going to go home and digest it, or it was right on point. So I will take either one of those. I wanted to say thank you so much for you guys. Oh, go ahead, Monique.
Yes. I have a question for you. In terms of measuring the process, do we need to sign up for something that will help keep records of that? Or is there, can you be a little more specific about what that looks like?
Absolutely. So it can run the gauntlet of low-tech options or high-tech options. So I have clients who choose the low-tech option of a notebook. I have a notebook and I track, here are the leads I got in for this week. Here's the conversions I had for this week. Here's how many videos I had watched for this week. And they can track it in a notebook, and it just grows with you. You can take the little bit of technology and use a spreadsheet like Excel or Google Sheets in order to track it. Now, there are other pieces of software and technology that you can buy that'll help you track through your specific KPIs. However, I've found that most entrepreneurs who are taking themselves from a side hustle into a business, you're best with one of those 2 options. I really like Sheets too, because if you have someone that is coaching you or working with you, or you just want to get someone's opinion, it's so easy to share, to just send to someone else and ask them to look over it. You're welcome. Great. Well, then I will leave you with one lasting thought, everybody. I hope that you go forth and conquer your side hustle, remembering that consumers purchase based on trust, credibility, and loyalty. And I want you to get rid of the word just. Never again are you going to say, I just teach chair yoga, or whatever it happens to be that your side hustle is. You're dropping the just. You are officially a business. So you're going to go forth and conquer, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. This was great.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have
you.
a wonderful day.
You too. Bye.